Oshaquie Foster because it's history there, and he got the WBC belt. That's a belt that I always wanted. So.
Mission to become a two-weight world champion. Ray, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Here we are in Atlantic City. Your return once again, your first fight of the year. How are you feeling ahead of it?
I'm feeling great, ready, feel sharp, well prepared, and it's time to go.
A lot of people talking about your fight, a lot of excitement expected. What are you expecting? What are you hoping to deliver and show out with on Saturday night?
Deliver a ass whooping, that's all.
Ray, obviously I know you're a man who, like I said, we want to see you get back to that world stage. You want to become a two-weight world champion. What's your route to that? What's the position you want to find yourself in?
I just gotta keep beating on everybody that they put in front of me, and work my way back up to the #1 spot, because these world champions and people that's fighting for the world title, they not gonna give me a shot willingly. So I'm gonna have to force them into fighting me.
How difficult is that for you to deal with mentally when you mention you're not somebody who people are going to want to give a shot to for a voluntary position because you're a very difficult fight? When you as a world champion, it's different. Everybody wants to fight you. You've got something. Without that, it's a lot more difficult to secure.
It is definitely difficult. It's a little frustrating, but it comes with the territory. This is that's a part of the sport now. So it's not like back in the day where you had no choice but to fight whoever they put in front of you. Now you get to pick and choose and take the safe routes. So, but like I said, I'm working my way back up into the #1 spots and force them into fighting me.
130 is obviously a very open division. There's not one dominant name. Is there anybody in particular who you would like to share the ring with in a world title fight?
Oshaquie Foster, Navarrete, all of them, to be honest, all of them.
What would you make of that potential Oshaquie Foster fight? Because I know that's a bout which had been mentioned previously by Eddie.
I think that's probably the easiest fight.
What makes you say that? What makes you feel like that?
Style-wise, it's a style I'm used to seeing. So yeah.
I'm also interested in your thoughts on the Lamont Roach situation, because he's a WBA champion at 130, but there's a lot of uncertainty with him and that title because of a Tank rematch. Do you think we could see yourself and Lamont Roach share the ring? Is that a fight which I imagine is of interest to you?
Definitely. Even if he don't come back down to 130, I think I won't be at 30 for extremely long, like as I was at 126. So I can always move up and we can get it on. So that's definitely a fight that can happen in the future.
Do you feel like, especially at this stage in your career then, Ray, those bigger names, they are moving up towards 135, 140. I'm not saying you're going to go up to 140, but 135, do you feel like that's what you'd have to do to secure those big name fights?
Yes, more than likely, yeah. I had to go to 35. And then, a lot of those guys, they're going to 40, so it depending on, the prospects that's coming up and things like that that's coming to the weight class, and or I can either go up to 140 too,
It's a big jump, Ray, and I don't want to be putting words in your mouth, but is that something you'd feel like you'd be able to do, or would that be a tall mountain to climb?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna just jump up there. I'm gonna take my time and let my body gradually get there, and that's when we'll start looking at 140. But
what's good, Just Do family? It's your boy KB, back to get boxing is Just Do, and as always, give your boy his just due by smashing that like button, subbing to the channel. Make sure your notifications on and drop a comment at the end of the video. But we gonna get to it. Man, the boxing world continues to heat up and get more interesting by the day. I mean, every other day it's a new matchup, it's a new call out, it's a new possibility of a great fight being made. And you heard it this time from Raymond Ford. He said in a recent interview with Boxing News, shout out to them, that he's willing to even go up to 35 to fight a Lamont Roach Jr. And I, for one, think Lamont Roach Jr.'s stock has gone up since fighting Tank Davis. He's had a multitude of options since then. You had the likes of Shakur Stevenson willing to fight him, Keyshawn Davis, and now you got Raymond Ford willing to go up to 35, and we all know he got to get his work done this weekend as he fights on the Boots undercard against Thomas Matisse, and he just wants all the smoke. You heard earlier in the video, he wants smoke with Oshaquie Foster. Emmanuel Navarrete, and now Lamont Roach Jr., man. I think the boxing world is just really heating up. Raymond Ford is a dog. He lost, recently had lost his title to Nick Ball down there at 126. I think he was weight drained and compromised. Since then, he's moved up. He's looked good against, Orlando Gonzalez Ruiz, who he beat on the Boots undercard November 9th. So now he's turning around this weekend on Boots undercard again. Great move, by the way. And he gets the opportunity against Thomas Matisse to show the boxing world what he's made of at 130. And just the possibilities of him going up to 35 and even 140, as he mentioned in the video, just makes the boxing world that much more interesting. He said he won't even be at 30 for long, how he was at 26. So I'm interested to see how long he'll be at 30. And man, it's just great matchups to make from 30 to 35, man. And even the thought of him being at 140 is crazy. But as you heard him say, he's going to take his time, allow his body to gradually grow, and he'll move up when the time is necessary. But in the meantime, he got smoked with Thomas Matisse. You can't overlook anybody. But I think the consensus is Thomas Matisse is very tough, scrappy. But I think Raymond Ford will be expected to beat him. I think he'll be the favorite on the night for good reason. And I'm just excited for the endless possibilities of good fights if he's to get past this guy the way I expect him to. Respected Thomas Matisse, but I got Raymond Ford pulling this off. Possibly a decision. If a stoppage is to happen, maybe it'll come late, but I'm expecting maybe a decision because, like I said, Thomas Matisse is definitely tough. He's game and he can fight. But I just love this energy from Raymond Ford, man. He's with all the smoke. Shout out to Camden, New Jersey. Jersey, we got another one. I can't wait to see him get his opportunity to be a world champion again. And he just made 130 that much more interesting, and he won smoke with Oshaquie Foster. You heard him mention that name a couple times, and I think the whole boxing world will want to see that. They had a lot of back and forth on Twitter, so it's just an exciting matchup, man. And these are the kind of matchups that I live for. This is what boxing is all about, the best fighting the best, and him calling out the absolute best available opposition and being willing to go in there and challenge himself. So this is what I love from Raymond Ford. I'm excited to see him this Saturday on the Boots undercard. I know he's going to show out, but I'm excited to really see what his next fight going to look like and who it's going to be. Because whether it's Navarrete, whether it's Oshaquie Foster, if he down the line fights a Lamont Roach, I think they're all great fights, very entertaining, and I think it's something, fights and matchups that the boxing world could get behind. But that's my thoughts. Y'all get in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all like the fact that Raymond Ford is calling for all the smoke, or is he biting off more than he can chew? And as always, get in the comment section, let me know if I gave boxing its just due, because that's what I do over here at Just Do Boxing. Till the next one, I'm out. Peace.